Today, I want to speak to you about power. Not the kind that comes from wealth or status. I'm talking about the kind of power that shakes the heavens, that lights up the soul, that transforms suffering into salvation. I'm talking about the supernatural power that lives inside you. The Lotus Sutra tells us that the Buddhas, saviors of the world, displayed their powers not to boast, not to dominate, but to please living beings. They did it out of love, out of compassion, out of a desire to awaken the divine spark in every soul. When Shakyamuni Buddha and the other Buddhas beneath the jeweled trees thus displayed their supernatural powers, they did so for fully 100,000 years. The Buddhas, saviors of the world, abide in their great transcendental powers, and in order to please living beings they display immeasurable supernatural powers. The Buddhas, saviors of the world, abide in their great transcendental powers, and in order to please living beings they display immeasurable supernatural powers. Let me tell you something, friends. You don't have to go searching in the stars or bowing to idols to find enlightenment. You don't need to count someone else's blessings like that poor man counting his neighbor's gold. Because the treasure is already buried in your own backyard, in your own heart. You must never think that any of the 80,000 sacred teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha's lifetime or any of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions and 3 existences are outside yourself. The teachings say that your practice will not relieve you of the sufferings of birth and death unless you perceive the true nature of your life. That means you've got to look inward. You've got to recognize that the divine lives in you. If you seek enlightenment outside yourself, then you're performing even 10,000 practices and 10,000 good deeds will be in vain. It is like the case of a poor man who spends night and day counting his neighbor's wealth but gains not even half a coin. Faith is the key that unlocks the power. The scripture warns us, unless one perceives the nature of one's life, cannot eradicate one's grave offenses. That's a hard truth, but it's a loving one. Because Buddha doesn't want you chasing shadows. He wants you to wake up to the light inside your own soul. Nevertheless, even though you chant and believe in Nam-myoho-renge-kyo, if you think the law is outside yourself, you are embracing not the mystic law but an inferior teaching. Inferior teaching means those other than this Lotus Sutra, which are all expedient and provisional. No expedient or provisional teaching leads directly to enlightenment, and without the direct path to enlightenment you cannot attain Buddhahood, even if you practice lifetime after lifetime for countless kalpas. Attaining Buddhahood in this lifetime is then impossible. So what do? We chant Nam-myoho-renge-kyo. We live with conviction, because when you chant Myoho and recite Renge, you must summon up deep faith that Myoho-renge-kyo is your life itself. The Vimalakirti Sutra says, when one seeks the Buddha's emancipation in the minds of ordinary beings, one finds that ordinary beings are the entities of enlightenment, and that the sufferings of birth and death are nirvana. That means your pain, your trials, your struggles, they're not punishments. They're pathways. They're the very soil in which your enlightenment grows. And listen to this, if the minds of living beings are impure, their land is also impure, but if their minds are pure, so is their land. There are not two lands, pure or impure in themselves. The difference lies solely in the good or evil of our minds. Friends, that means your world is a reflection of your heart. You want to live in a pure land? Then purify your thoughts. You want to see heaven on earth? Then let heaven reign in your mind. Don't think you have to be a saint or a scholar to be holy. The Lotus Sutra says, ordinary beings are the entities of enlightenment, the sufferings of birth and death are nirvana. That means you, the mother raising her children, the worker clocking in every day, the student trying to find their way. You are the light of the world. And hear this quote from Nichiren's writings. Whether you chant the Buddha's name, recite the sutra, or merely offer flowers and incense, all your virtuous acts will implant benefits and roots of goodness in your life. With this conviction you should strive in faith. Even simple acts become powerful when done with conviction and awareness. Faith transforms ordinary actions into vehicles for enlightenment, because they awaken the Buddha nature within. So today, I call on you not just to believe, but to be. Don't just chant the words, live them. Don't just seek the truth, embody it. Because Nam-myoho-renge-kyo is not just a phrase. It's the heartbeat of your life. It's the rhythm of your soul. It's the law written on your heart. Let your faith be deep. Let your practice be joyful. Let your life be the sermon that others read. Because when you awaken to the truth that you are the Buddha, you don't just change yourself, you change the world.